Free agency is here, and it's stirring up a mix of anticipation and unease among Dolphins fans. The roster is a puzzle with pieces that refuse to fit easily, and every decision made in the coming months carries the weight of uncertainty. The pressure is mounting because the team can't afford missteps, not with the cap space so limited and the stakes so high. There's a certain rawness in the way this period unfolds. It isn't about the polished analysis or neat conclusions, but about the grit and uncertainty that underline every potential move. Take Mekhi Becton, for instance. His name has floated around like a question mark that never seems to settle into a firm answer. On paper, Becton offers an intriguing proposition: the size, the strength, and a glimpse of the ability to perform at a level that could shore up Miami's chronic offensive line issues. Yet, as one looks beyond the surface, there's a deeper, almost unsettling uncertainty. Becton's past is a tale of highs and lows, a narrative that has never quite found its balance. His early promise was marred by stumbles in New York, a period riddled with injuries and performance that never matched the lofty expectations he once carried. Even now, after a season in Philadelphia that saw him play a key role in a line that pushed the Eagles into deep playoff runs, the question remains: is that turnaround sustainable or merely a fleeting spark in a long history of inconsistency? It's not just about the numbers that flash across stat sheets or the brief moments of brilliance caught on camera. It's about the unspoken doubts that accompany every move in free agency. The Dolphins aren't in the market to make a flashy splash or to chase after names that might turn out to be expensive distractions. Instead, they're forced to weigh the risks of each potential signing against the relentless need for stability. Every dollar spent on a player with a checkered past is a gamble, one that the team's delicate financial balance might not be able to withstand. There's something inherently disconcerting about the notion of paying top dollar for a player who, despite a promising season in Philadelphia, still carries the baggage of previous failures. The temptation is undeniable, yet there's an underlying wariness that cannot be ignored. One season of success in an environment that was seemingly tailor-made for his resurgence is hardly enough to erase the memories of how things once went wrong. The reality is that the market is rife with examples of players who shine momentarily in a contract year, only to revert to old habits once the pressure of a lucrative deal sets in. This historical pattern casts a long shadow over any discussion about Becton, leaving Miami's decision-makers to grapple with the inherent risk of investing in hope rather than in proven consistency. Within the chaos of free agency, it becomes clear that the Dolphins must prioritize wisdom over impulse. There's an urgency to mend the offensive line, to ensure that Tua Tagovailoa is afforded the protection necessary to make plays, without being incessantly hounded by relentless pressure. Yet the solution isn't as straightforward as snapping up a name that promises instant improvement. Instead, it's a careful dance around the pitfalls of hasty decisions, a cautious evaluation of talent that refuses to be boxed into neat categories of success or failure. In this context, Becton is emblematic of the broader dilemma: the allure of immediate improvement versus the cold reality of long-term risk. As the front office ponders its options, one must consider whether the team would be investing in the version of Becton that emerged in Philadelphia, a player who seemed to have finally found his rhythm, or the version that had struggled for so long in New York. The contrast is stark, and it brings to light a deeper truth about free agency in general. Sometimes the most compelling story isn't the one told by statistics or highlight reels, but the one that unfolds in the shadows of doubt and human error. Becton's impressive run-blocking numbers and the role he played in a Super Bowl run are undeniably attractive. However, beneath that veneer of success lies a history of inconsistency, a past that cannot be easily erased or forgotten. There's a palpable tension in the air, the kind that comes when a franchise finds itself at a crossroads. Every decision is laced with the possibility of regret, the fear that one misstep might not only squander a cap space, but also undermine the integrity of the entire roster. The Dolphins are in a position where every dollar counts, and the margin for error is razor-thin. Spending big on someone whose future is uncertain is a risk that many would shy away from, yet the pressure to fix glaring weaknesses can lead to decisions driven by desperation rather than careful planning. This isn't a scenario where clear-cut answers abound. Instead, there's a lingering ambiguity that colors every conversation about free agency. The discussions around Becton are filled with questions that refuse to settle into neat answers. Is his performance in Philadelphia a genuine turnaround, or is it a one-off anomaly born out of circumstances that might not repeat themselves? Would a substantial contract only serve to lock in an expensive gamble, a move that could ultimately hinder the team's flexibility in future seasons? These are the kinds of questions that echo in the halls of the front office, questions that have no simple resolution.